This dog carried memories from his past life. He remembered having a beautiful wife and billions in wealth. He wanted to go back home and live the good life. When the keeper came to feed him, he dashed out of the cage. Just as he was about to escape, the keeper suddenly blocked him and picked him up. At that critical moment, the little dog proved clever. He peed right on him, and that's how he finally got away. But the outside world was even harsher than the cage. He hadn't eaten for 3 days. Luckily, he ran into a stray dog named Blackie. With Blackie's guidance, he learned how to beg for food. After finally filling his stomach, his memories grew clearer and clearer. He suddenly remembered the truth from his past life. His so-called best friend not only caused his death, but might have even taken over his wife. So Jack set out on his journey home. He hopped on trains, crossed mountains and rivers, and at last arrived at his son's school. He waited anxiously for his son to come out, but that familiar figure never appeared. Just as he turned away in disappointment, he froze. The wife he longed for was sitting in the car just across from him. He immediately bolted over and jumped onto the car window, but his wife was startled and quickly rolled up the window. He then ran to his son's side, his eyes filled with longing, yet his wife didn't recognize him at all. The greatest distance in the world wasn't across oceans or continents. It was that he stood right beside her, and she still couldn't recognize who he was. Watching the car drive away, the little dog refused to give up. He followed all the way to the front door and kept acting cute, begging to be let in. Finally, he touched his wife's heart and was allowed to stay. When she gave him a bath, the two of them shared a moment of warmth, almost as if life had gone back to the way it used to be. He even put on the shoes and hat he had worn in his past life. Although it stirred up her memories, she still didn't realize that this dog was her husband. Jack could only stay quietly by her side. When he saw her crying, for the first time, doubt crept into his heart. Had coming back really been the right choice? Just then, a man walked in. Jack recognized him instantly. This was the so-called enemy. He lunged at him right away. Although he tore the man's clothes, he was thrown out of the house. But he didn't give up. He hid inside the car. When the car was going full speed, he suddenly leapt out, sinking his teeth into the man's arm. In the chaos, the car spun out of control and crashed into a pillar. Jack was flung out as well. He thought he had finally taken his revenge. But in the very next moment, all his memories came flooding back. The truth was, the accident back then had been his own fault, and the so-called enemy had actually rushed to save him first, and later even took care of his wife and child. Guilt overwhelmed Jack. He gently licked his friend's face and found someone to help rescue him. By some unseen force, he ended up at the cemetery. Just then, his wife drove up. When she saw the dog lying on her husband's grave, she was stunned. She couldn't understand why the dog was there. But when Jack brushed the snow off the tombstone and revealed the name underneath, his wife finally realized this dog was her husband Reborn. Jack gazed at her with deep affection. Even though he didn't want to leave, he turned away and walked off. At that moment, he finally understood he could no longer disturb his family. Sometimes, letting go was the truest way to protect the ones you loved.